I thought I was saving her. I was just the next link. They always said I had a weird sleep schedule, but working graveyard shifts at a warehouse messes with your clock. That night, or morning, whatever you call 3:47 a.m., I took my usual shortcut home behind a strip of shuttered shops. The alley reeked like mold and spoiled meat, but it was quiet, and after 10 hours on my feet, I didn't care. I lit a cigarette and turned the corner when I saw it. A large black trash bag wedged between a rusted dumpster and a stack of pallets. But it wasn't just there. It moved. Just once. Like a twitch. I froze. I waited. Maybe a rat. Or a cat. Then it moved again. Longer this time. A full body shift. I swear I heard something like a muffled whimper. At that point, my brain was sprinting while my feet stayed nailed to the ground. I stepped closer, cigarette shaking in my hand, ash dusting my shoe. The bag was tied tight, the heavy-duty kind, thick plastic, zip-tied at the top. Whatever was inside had stopped moving, but the shape, it was too human. I told myself not to touch it, but I did. I poked the bag with the toe of my boot. Nothing. Then, just as I was about to turn around, I heard it. Please. A voice. From inside the bag. I staggered back. Hello? What the? Help me. It wasn't a shout. It wasn't even a cry. Just a quiet, broken plea. Like whoever was inside had been whispering for hours, and their voice had dissolved into threadbare desperation. That snapped me out of it. I ran to the bag and yanked at the zip tie. Too tight. I ran back to my backpack and pulled out the box cutter I kept for work. With one quick slash, I ripped down the side of the bag. What I saw made me drop the blade. She was alive barely. A woman, mid-30s maybe. Eyes swollen shut. Mouth duct-taped. Blood soaked through her shirt, and her fingers were broken, twisted like snapped twigs. There were bruises that weren't just from impact. They looked like burns. Symbols. Letters. She gasped in air like she'd just surfaced from drowning. I peeled the tape off her mouth, and she started sobbing. I tried to call emergency services, but my hands were shaking too hard. She grabbed my wrist. He's still here. I turned so fast I nearly fell over. The alley was empty. Who? She didn't answer. She just kept repeating it. He's still here. He's still here. I got her out of the bag and walked her toward the main road. That's when I noticed on her shoulder, carved into the skin, was a date. Yesterday's date. She collapsed before we made it out of the alley. I carried her the rest of the way to the street and flagged down a car. An old man and his wife. They took us to the hospital. She lived. But here's the part one can't stop thinking about. 2 days later, I went back to the alley with the cops. There were no bags, no blood, not even a footprint. Just the dumpster, the pallets, and a strange smell like gasoline and iron. The cops said she wasn't in any system. No ID, no fingerprints, no missing person report. They questioned me like I was involved. Asked me if I was part of the group. What group? They wouldn't say. They kept the knife, kept my phone, said they'd be in touch. They weren't. Last night, I found a new bag near my building. Same black plastic, same zip tie. This one wasn't moving. I didn't open it, but I swear I heard breathing, and I wish I hadn't opened the second one. I didn't sleep after finding the second bag. I just sat by my door with a hammer in one hand and my box cutter in the other, waiting for something to move outside. But it never did. The bag stayed still. By morning, it was gone. I told myself I imagined it, that the stress was fucking with me. But then I saw something taped to my door, a single zip tie, the same thick kind from the bag. On it, carved in precise little punctures, was a message. Next time, don't interfere. That same night, the woman from the hospital, the one I saved, was declared dead. Not murdered, not suicide. Organ failure. Her body had signs of trauma after she was admitted. Someone got to her. The official report? No foul play. The nurse I spoke to said they found something under her tongue. A folded scrap of paper, soaked in blood. All it said was, "You unzipped the wrong one." I started seeing the bags everywhere after that. Always black, always tied shut, always just barely twitching. A parking lot, behind a bus stop, once right outside my work locker. Every time, I left them alone. Every time, they vanished by sunrise. But last week, it escalated. I came home to find my front door unlocked and the smell. Jesus, the smell. Like rotting meat stuffed inside a radiator. There was a trail of dark stains leading into my kitchen. Not blood, not quite. Thicker, almost like oil. And in the middle of the floor, a new bag. No movement this time, but taped to the outside was a Polaroid of me, sleeping. I opened the bag. Inside was a corpse, stripped, burned, eyeless. The same symbols branded across its chest. A triangle, a vertical eye, something that looked like a tally mark carved into the ribs. It took me a few minutes to realize the body was wearing my jacket. I ran to my closet. My jacket was still hanging there, but inside the pocket was another zip tie. This one carved with, "Do you get it now?" I didn't go to the police. They'd just take my phone again and call it stress-induced paranoia. So I went back to the alley where I found her. I waited. I sat in my own piss, hungry, shaking, cold, until around 2:44 a.m. a van pulled in. Old, rusted, no plates. 3 men stepped out, dressed in butcher's aprons and rubber gloves. They were dragging a screaming man in a tarp, kicking like hell. They didn't even flinch when they saw me. One of them, bald, face like leather, eyes fogged like a corpse, just nodded. "Still curious," he said. Before I could move, another voice behind me whispered, "You've already been chosen." They beat me. Hard. Smashed my face into the concrete. Wrapped me in a bag. Tied it shut. That's where I should have died. But I didn't. I woke up underground. Brick walls. A red bulb overhead. No windows. Just the smell of bleach and copper. I was strapped to a steel table. All around me, black bags. Dozens of them. Some moving. Some not. And him, the bald one, slicing one open. A girl, alive, gagged, wide-eyed. He looked at me and smiled. "We're not killing them. We're making them empty." "What the fuck does that mean?" He leaned close. "They go in full of memories, full of soul. We hollow them out, piece by piece. Offerings. To what?" He didn't answer. He dragged a scalpel across the girl's scalp and peeled it like an orange. Her screams echoed off the brick like laughter. They did this every night, to different people. I don't know how long I was down there. Days? Weeks? But they let me go. They said, "You're our messenger now. Show them what happens when they open things not meant to be opened." I moved. I don't sleep. I can't eat meat. In my right, I won't stop twitching. Every few nights, a new bag appears outside my building. Sometimes it breathes, sometimes it cries, sometimes it screams and doesn't stop. But I never touch them. Not anymore. And here's the part that'll fuck with your head. I checked my mail today, and it was a USB. No label. I plugged it in. There's only one file, a recording. It's me walking up to that first bag. But the angle? It's not a security cam. It's from inside the bag. I was never supposed to look inside. Neither are you.